Station, everybody, because we've got the great Hermenio Reyes Jr. is in the house. Good to see you, man.
What up, what up, what up? What's going on, everyone? Happy new comic book day, everyone. Happy Whiplash Wednesday. Always like Christmas Day. Every week. Not many communities get to say that, but we do every day. Whenever you get your comics during the week, it could be Thursday, Friday, during the weekend. Happy new comic book day to you all. I hope everyone's doing good. I hope if you did get your comics, you're enjoying them. I don't really get to read them till the end of the week, but I still love getting them. I get really excited. I'm all jacked up. Everybody knows. Earlier, I was on the #Blame Phable show, and I don't have a new thumbnail for today's show, so I'm just gonna show last week's. I was on today's show too. I wasn't the special guest. The special guest is the Mark guy from Geeks Unleashed. I think I got that right. His podcast. Hope everybody joins it. I will have that link. I don't have the link yet down below, but I will be adding that podcast down below because I love podcasts and I have listened to a few of those episodes. Can't wait to listen to more. As he said, he's gonna have Delaney up in there from the PCP Army crew, PCP crew. So I can't wait for that. But enough of that. Today's a special show. Our guy Sam from Sam's Tangled Web is off this week because he has a special event going on with James Tynan. Little signature, get his autograph. He's getting me one too. No, I'm just kidding. But but he's gonna take a break for the guy I'm bringing in right now. Everybody knows him. Like he's been missing sometimes. You know, like the modern day Where's Waldo. You know, everybody knows that. We're in the world's common sense. We're in the world's missing link. You know what I mean? So, but we all love him. Big part of the PCP Army Bad Batch. Backlot Bros. What the heck is that? I don't know. Let me not waste any more time. I'll do some more plugging a little later. Let's bring in my man, Missing Link. Station, my man. How you doing, bro?
Good. How you doing, Herm? Good.
I'm so excited to finally do this X-Men show with you. I'm hoping for another guest. I'm not gonna say who it is. Yeah, I'm hoping for another guest that comes in a little later. You know, does his usual cameo spots. You know what I mean?
It'd only be right if it's X-Men too. If we're talking about X-Men, featuring a cameo.
Talking about X-Men, like you have to be here. It's X-Men. Yeah. Come on. not trying to put him in the spot, or nothing like that. Maybe I am. But how you doing, Missing Link? Thank you for being on my show. It's been a while. How you been? Good. How's your new comic book day?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry this took so long, but I appreciate you having me on. But it's been a good comic book day. We had our the show earlier with you, Phable, Mark from Geeks Unleashed. That was super dope. That was a fun time. Always a good time. I didn't get my new comic books this week yet, but I think I might get them tomorrow, more than likely tomorrow. So I'm pumped for that. I'm always like a day late, but that's okay.
It's all good, man. It's Happy New Comic Book Day whenever you get your comics.
Right.
You just know that they came out today, so now you know they're on their way.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Then like when Phable did on the show, he heard the ding ding in the middle of his show. He's like,
Yes, sir.
Or earlier today when Mark showed them wonderful X-Men books, like your face glittered.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment.
It was gold, man. That's why I love doing shows with you guys. Bad Batch, Backlot Bro. What is that? I have no idea. You know what that is? I still don't know what that is.
It just sounds cool to me, so I just throw it out there. But I wish I knew what it.
Yeah, so
One
yeah,
day,
I'm
one day.
always one day we'll find out what that is. Your doomsday clock. What is that? I don't know. But real quick, also Whiplash Wednesday started with Phable, and then went over to our guy ComicManAndy, and he had a special guest up in here. Kenny, some guy named Kenny. Cap
Yeah,
comic
caps.
put on a great show like always with his awesome background. Little slabs back
His
there.
museum of history.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love Kenny's backgrounds. It's just like walking down time if you're walking down this hall.
Yeah, gems back there. Like you're like,
Right.
oh, I want that one. Oh, I want
Right.
that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that one too. There's never for me. It's never like, oh, I have that one. You know, it doesn't happen a lot. But we enjoy the joy of just watching this. Like he'd be talking, I just looking behind. Oh, you know what I mean? What do you say? I didn't remember. I gotta rewind.
Right.
As you know, everybody can see I'm jacked up because I'm excited this week. I'm always excited. I know guys. You got your I got water. I drank all my Starbucks earlier. That's why you see all this energy. Like by the time tonight comes, I'll probably be like knocked out. You know what I mean? And then as I was plugging, and it takes me forever. Now Missing Link is witnessing my shows when I take forever, 15 minutes just to plug shows and get before I get into the chat. But it's all good. Thanks guys for putting up with me, because of course Whiplash Wednesday continue after ComicManAndy. We got our man. He dropped a video, his haul video, new comic book day, September 8th, which he shows you what he got. I did get to watch it. I didn't think his store didn't get his diamond order.
Yeah, the Marvel
so
stuff.
So
I think he got his DC and everything, but like there's some indies in Marvel, or I think most indies in Marvel didn't come in.
Yeah, it's just it breaks my heart to hear that. But hopefully he said there might be a video tomorrow for that.
Yeah.
But he still had a little haul there to show and all that.
Yeah.
So check that out. By the weekend we get the Nick at Night, you know what I mean, which is an awesome show he puts out. So it continue on to here, of course, from Nick to us. We're here. You know what I mean? Of course, you guys are here watching it. Thanks for watching. And of course, the end of the night, the closer, our Mariana Rivera of the night, Chamorro Cinema, up in here tonight. I'm kind of confused. What is it they're doing tonight? Something about two worlds collide or something like that?
Pitch battle. So it's like, you can take like two of your favorite franchises and pitch a reason as to why these mediums should coexist. Like, Shang-Chi and Chong from Cheech and Chong. What if they were in a movie together? Why would they be in a movie together? If you want to see, you have a good idea about why Terminator would fight the Care Bears. You could pitch that. Just anything you think should. If you have a wild pitch for it, just something along those lines.
That's nice. You know what? Everybody knows Terminator got no chance against the Care Bears. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it. No chance. Don't even try. Don't even.
No, I agree. People underestimate.
All right. Yeah. That's always a wonderful show, and a bunch of guests. Is Cap gonna be there too? I heard he might be there too, or
I believe so.
Do you know?
I believe so. I heard through the internets that he should be there.
But well,
I think so.
Of course, Whiplash Wednesday. We just talk all over the map. There's more stuff to plug. I'll do that later. But of course, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ding that bell for notification for future videos. And I can't take this serious because I just saw who got on. and for future videos of me, anybody from the Bad Batch, anybody from the Instagram, our guy Missing Link, that way. He has a show. Well, when you're gonna see it, I don't know. It's part of his whole thing. Missing. Yeah. Where Waldo. You can't even find you. You know what I mean? That's how serious that is. But let's go to the chats. Already 10 minutes in, so let's go to the chats real quick. And of course, we got our guy John Thomas up in here. Station, my man.
Station Jarvis.
Eric, the Stash Durance. I hear it came back. I hear he found it. So I'm glad it's back. The staff. That's what I hear. That he
only took
him too, right?
It only took him like 2 days, and it was right back.
It was found. Yeah. It's just, whew,
like
I'm
magic.
glad it's He's probably like, Herm, leave me alone with that already. Brother Joe, what's going on, Brother Joe? He said, happy comic book day to everybody. Yes. Oh, Chamorro Cinema, talking about Chamorro just earlier. Station, my man. He says he's driving and listening. Appreciate you being busy and still trying to listen. Appreciate you, bro. Much love. And of course, the Cerebros is up in here. What's up, bro? Station, I think he saw X-Men in there. He's like, let me check these guys out with the X-Men.
He's like, let's see what they know.
Yeah, let me check it out. You know
what school is too bad, Verno.
Who else? Oh, thank Comics. Thank my man Station. My man. Always put out very inspiring content. What the content. and love your shows, bro. Yeah. I'm sorry I'll be missing them live sometimes. I'm always busy, you know, but I'm gonna catch you live one of these days. I will. Oh yeah. Who else is up in here? I don't want to miss any. Maria Station, hun.
Maria Station.
Much love. Love you. She says happy new comic book day for everyone up in there. Spine Ticks. What's up, Spine Ticks? Good. Wonderful show. Saturday nights, always. They put on a great show. One day I'm gonna be off from work, and I don't want. Maybe I'm putting myself in trouble here, but I'll be off from work, and I'm gonna do that show with you guys if you have.
Oh, that would be amazing. Man.
I said it here. Maybe I'm gonna regret saying that, but no, not anytime soon.
Got the stamina.
Maybe someday in October, maybe, you know what I'm saying? If they have me, of course. Who else is up there? I don't want to miss anybody. He says, I'm here twice. What's up? He's so good. He's here twice.
Right. So nice. He's here twice.
Zick keeps fighting the power against the hallmark, man. Please tell me the topic of this show. That hat. Oh, what? This hat?
That beautiful thing. Yeah.
This hat?
Beautiful. No, this not this old thing. That beautiful thing on your head.
This hat right
got
here.
The best hat game.
Everybody wants me to do the hat show. I gotta do it one day.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Give them what they want. Let me keep going. The chat is jumping now. So if I miss anybody, forgive me. Just keep saying stuff. But the bin guy's here. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, he's seen this shirt before, but I'll show you my shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Got the hat. I come with the X-Men from the cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yo.
Wee. And I don't think Missing Link just got the movie star shirt. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's hiding.
Yeah, it's just some
movie star shirt.
Let me show. Speaking on that shirt, real quick, it wouldn't be right.
Oh, there you go. It matches. You know what I'm saying? There you go. It matches the shirt. There you go. Perfect.
Enjoy it, people.
That's perfect. What happened. They just put the comic right on my shirt. That's what they did. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But there you go. Sheena Station. Thanks for joining us. Miss Chamorro Station, the better half of the Chamorros, no doubt. Station. I'm sure Mr. Manny agrees with me.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Oh, comic book therapy. Station, man. Station.
CBT Station, brother.
Billy Power Max.
Hell, Billy.
Most peaceful station, my man. And if who else? I hope I didn't miss anybody. Vanistia, apologize. Like I said, we have so many plugins to do. I'm gonna do a little bit more plugging later. There's a lot of shows coming up for me for this whole month. I got new people coming in here. Part of the Sam's Portland comic crew coming in. So I'm gonna talk more about that later.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm also on Monday. I might as well mention this. Monday, I'm with my man Fargate. You know what I'm saying? These are all his social media stuff, because this Monday we have our amazing collected edition show. You know what I'm saying? Covering everything for the month what you can buy, what to look out for. We cover on that show what we've been reading, omnibus style. And my omnibus this month, it's gonna be this one. This is the I have the trade dress. I don't even know where I put the trade dress. The trade dress is right here. You know what I'm saying? I might as well show everybody. This is the trade dress of the omnibus that I'm reading for our show. You know what I'm saying? This is the Frank Miller run, the first one, because there was a second one. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta buy another omnibus. But this covers, issues 158 through 191. So a lot of issues. You know what I'm saying? And I just think the book looks gorgeous on the inside one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
With the electron. Yeah. Yeah. So I already read like 5 issues of it. I'm loving it already. You know what I'm saying? Because I read parts of the run, but I didn't read the whole run. So
is that the start of Miller's run?
Yeah.
Okay.
158. So it's the start of it. Electro comes in later. He's in the middle of dating, I think, Black Widow or something like that, because she shows up in the first issue. So can't wait to do that. You know what I mean? Because I might as well talk about it before we start talking X-Men next week. Sam will be right back. He'll be back with us, because we have Bob from Everything Comics.
Yo, that's gonna be fire.
Special edition with Bob, Everything Comics, Portland Comic Crew. That's what I was talking about. I might as well just plug that real quick.
Yo,
can't wait. So it's a pretty exciting week for me. It's Amazing Collector's Edition show with Fargate, and then Bob. You know what I mean? It's just like
that's
me and Sam's gonna have a ball. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, love it. Can't wait. I can't wait. So let me take myself off the spotlight, because we're talking X-Men. I don't even know how to start, because we both love X-Men. We both I did cover X-Men with Sam the earlier days. I kind of wanted to cover a little bit about maybe the 90s all the way up to now, the different runs, how we feel about them. But before we get too deep into that, I want to pick your brain. Not really pick your brain. I'll do that later. But I want to see your origin story with the X-Men. How you started falling in love with X-Men. How that came to be.
Well, I was I always liked to, for the longest time, I always liked to think that it was like the comics that drew me in first, which I probably did see the comics younger and thought they looked cool, but it was really the cartoon that got me hooked on the Sam station. That got me hooked on the X-Men. I don't know how long it was into it, but I remember Pizza Hut was doing a promotional thing where you got like the first 2 episodes on video, and it came with like some cards. I mean, it might have come with the comic book, but I used to watch those videos over and over. And I once I got older, and
you talk about the cassette, the video cassette.
Yeah, the black and red. Cassette. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. And once I got a little bit older, X-Men, I like to think, encouraged me to read at an early age, because once I seen the cartoon and I saw the comic books on stands, I'd be like, yo, there's more stories with the X-Men and stuff. Like, there's characters I haven't even seen on the cartoon in here. Like, I want to know what that's about. And so that I started collecting comic books around 5 or 6. Just I was still learning to read, but I was growing with them, and just been hooked ever since. But it was definitely the cartoon. I take it back to that. Just the iconic theme song, just the message.
Oh God, I love that, bro.
Yeah.
It's the best theme song of that time of the 90s.
Yeah.
I love the Spider-Man one. I love Spider-Man, so I love the cartoon a little bit more, but the theme song of the X-Men gets you so hyped. You know what I mean? It was a theme song, man.
Yeah, it's iconic. I mean? It's up there with the Batman animated series too.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. I have to give that one to Batman too, man. Batman, them two neck and neck. Those two. Spider-Man right behind them. Those two neck and neck. So yeah. So yeah, I like. The best thing I like about the Spider-Man, the X-Men cartoon is it brought you like characters you really didn't know about too much. You know what I mean? And then right around that time, you saw Jim Lee and his whole run started. In that with right before they went to Image, they blew up with Tom McFarlane with Spider-Man and all this, but Jim Lee was the man on X-Men. That was the popular one. You know, I think that one sold more than the X-Force one, right? That one sold millions.
Yeah, that's
I remember
still
8 million or something.
Yeah, that's still like the highest selling comic book to this day. Like
amazing. So were you reading those issue to issue when they came out, or that was a little bit before your time? Like
that at that point I was just kind of whatever. I would go to the grocery store, convenience store with my mom, and I saw them on the stands and I was able to get a comic book. I just grab it, you know, just because it's X-Men and, you know, just as anything X-Men. It was, I started to try to collect, well, issue to issue. I want to say high school. Whenever I got some money, because I didn't have a job in high school. I was doing sports and stuff, stations, Timo. But whenever I'd get some money, I'd go to the comic store and pick up the X-Men issues I didn't have. Like there'd be a few gaps, but for the most part, I was keeping up. But it was like 18 once I graduated from high school and got my first job. That's when I started going every Wednesday, collecting every month, making sure I didn't miss anything. But when I was younger, I was just whenever I saw a comic, if I was allowed to get it, I'd grab it. You know, it would look cool, I'd grab it.
Nice. I totally dig that. We all, even though we all come from a different, I'm getting a little excited because there's someone that popped up, but in a second, give me 1 second. I always intrigued how everybody gets in the comic, because no matter what generation you come to, it starts with that cartoon at that time. You know what I mean? It starts with the cartoon, the run and all that. And speaking of run and starting, we got an awesome guy, you know what I'm saying? We had him earlier. We went to his show, you know, and he, you know, he's always, you know, making us spend our money. You know what I'm saying? Always. And that's why they call it #blame Phable. I guess you guys know the music to the channel, the music to the Bad Batch, Backlot Bros. What is that? I don't know how much more I can hype this guy. Everybody knows how much we love him. We all do. Our guy, Phable. Station, my man.
Station.
What's going
Happy
on,
Whiplash Wednesday!
Yeah!
Happy Comic Book Day! Woo! Yeah!
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
It was a success.
I got to do my best Herm impression. What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
That was great, man. That was great.
Yeah,
I love it.
Nailed it. What's up?
I gotta take that little clip and then just put that every time I start now. Before ComicManAndy get out of the way, and I was. Yo, that was a lot of fun earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The #BlameBefore show. Mark showed a lot of good things, and we were just talking about it. How the X-Men books he showed just got Steph so excited. You know what I mean? So so how was your day? Besides, you know, #Blame Phable show. You know.
Today's great, man. Christmas every Wednesday, right? Got some new books in today. Got to hang out with my two of my best friends, my backlog bros. Who's that? I have no idea. But I got to hang out with two guys that I love. So, and I'm doing it again, part 2. Loving it, man. Loving it. Great day.
Part 2. Yeah, I always enjoy doing this with you guys. Just spending time with the community. Know that they come in here, give us a lot of love and all that. I totally appreciate that. And while we talking about, Phable has been drinking the Starbucks too.
Yeah.
Oh. JT.
So quick. He's
yeah. He's got the quick line. Oh, Sleepy read up in the house. Sleepy. We're definitely gonna talk about show later. Sleepy. We got a show later, but like I was saying, Steph, how did you get it? Real quick, how did you get into the X-Men on your time?
Well, I got into them because my grandmother, I was at my grandmother's house one day, and she had a pile of comic books sitting on the coffee table. And you know, when you're at your grandmother's house, kind of boring sometimes. You know, you're looking for stuff to do. So I saw these comic books, and on the cover, I don't know if you guys remember how X-Men 212 is, 212 and 213, but on the cover of Uncanny 212 is Wolverine, and he's all cut up and bleeding and all this other stuff. And then on the 213, he's like face to face with Sabretooth, right? And they're like looking like they want to kill each other, right? So I was like, holy crap, what is this? Right? I've never seen Wolverine bloody and cut up like that. So it got me right away. So that was my first exposure to a comic book, my first exposure to X-Men, and I never looked back, man. That thing was so awesome. Got me right into it.
Nice. Yeah, like we all, like I was telling Steph, no matter what, we all love the cartoon, and that's
Right.
like a big plus there. The whole Jim Lee stuff. I too was into it before that, but the cartoon just hyped it up even more, and it just got me to really love X-Men and all that. Cause my guy, you see me wearing the hat. He's my favorite X-Men. Real quick, this is my favorite X-Men.
yeah.
There's a reason why I got into X-Men. What are your favorite X-Men? Starting with Phable.
Well, my favorite X-Men is actually Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat.
Nice.
And the reason why I love her so much is because I felt like I was her going on the adventure that she was going on. She was young, she was a kid. She got introduced to the X-Men. She's finding out who they are as people. She's finding out who she is as a person. So it was the perfect proxy character for a reader. So they can live their life. Like, how would it be if I joined the X-Men? And that's how her arc was. Like,
Right.
you know, what is this weird new world of mutants? Because she was just discovering herself too. You know what I mean? So it was like the perfect character for a kid to attach themselves to. But you know, I always thought Scott was the man. I always thought Cyclops was, you know, an awesome leader. And you know, I love Professor X because he's like that fatherly figure, you know. And I always have a thing with mentors. You know, I always like stories about mentors and people being mentored. So I love Professor X, and I mean, of course, Wolverine, right? Who doesn't love a guy with 3 knives in their knuckles? Like, how cool is that, right? So he's made out of metal. Like, yeah, I mean, come on. So definitely, those guys. I would say those characters.
Yeah, the voice actor from the cartoon was amazing. So, you know, that's the voice I hear every time I hear X-Men. I love you, Chapman. Don't get me wrong, but I hear the guy from the cartoon. And Stefan, how about you? What was your favorite? Who's your favorite X-Men?
Well, Wolverine. I just like the fact that he was always, you know,
he went political with that one too. He's like, I'm showing you the real version.
The first appearance of Wolverine, yeah. Not the glorified second appearance, but you know, another battle for another day. But you know, I just like, I don't know. At a young age, it appealed to me that he always had like this eternal struggle. Like he could have easily been a bad guy, you know, with his power set, you know, razor blades his hands. He's got that berserker rage. But he was always trying to do the right thing, you know. So that, I don't know, that resonated with me as a kid early on. I don't know why. Havoc, Cyclops' brother. He always felt like, you know, he's always trying to be his own man. Because of the status of Scott and his brother, you know, leader of the X-Men, perfect soldier to a degree, not, you know, Captain America as well. But, you know, there's always like certain expectations people had along with Havoc just because of Scott, you know, how he presented himself, like, and he was always trying to establish himself as his own man, you know, and do things differently, you know, and I always like that battle he had to go through. And more recently, Laura X-23. I just you know, because she's like, she's raised to be a killing machine essentially, bro, and she's learning to be a human. So you know, she's even got that Wolverine edge, more so than Wolverine, in the fact that, you know, she could easily be a killing machine, a bad guy, but she's fighting against that. So I like people that have these eternal struggles, or X-Men characters that have eternal struggles that rise above the tide or whatever.
Absolutely.
Real quick, I didn't want to jump to movies real quick, but what do you think of her interpretation in Logan? Like the whole.
Oh, that was perfect. I thought that was amazing. She was.
Yeah. She was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
she made you feel her emotions and all that.
Yeah.
And just like, he wanted Wolverine to be dad. That's who she saw was her dad right there. She picked her dad and all that. And I don't want to spoil it, but and things don't happen at the end. Go ahead.
No, my bad. The movie dialogue is important, and when actors don't have a lot of dialogue, but you still feel like they're a character, that says a lot about their how they emote and convey emotions. And she didn't really have a lot of dialogue, if you think about it, but she was still like a memorable character. So that she's a fantastic actor. Actor. Yeah, some people don't like that term, actress, but she just killed the role. She was great. Yeah, I wish we could get her as X-23 again in another movie. Because Laura's about that age that the Daphne Keane, I think her name is, or I believe so. Yeah. They're like the same age now, so she could play like an older Laura. But I wish we could get her back, or she could get a solo X-23.
That would be cool. They need to.
Yeah.
Yes. Real quick, because I got a couple more X-Men that I like, but Phable, what did you think about your Katie Pryde? Right now it's Kate Pryde. Don't call her Katie, but that's something different. But what do you think about the movie, her in the movies with those original movies of Kitty Pryde? Like they showed very little.
Yeah, I mean they kind of replaced her with Rogue, right? Like that's really Kitty Pryde. Rogue is playing Kitty Pryde. It's just Rogue, I would have liked them to use Kitty Pryde instead of Rogue, but it's okay. It's all right. Yeah. I wasn't that upset with it. I liked her role in Days of Future Past. I think they used her well in that film. But yeah, I wasn't too upset about it. I wasn't too upset about it. But we all know that Rogue that's Kitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The surrogate.
Yeah. And it's funny you say Rogue because that's Rogue and Gambit, my favorite couple. One of my favorite couples. They rival MJ and Peter for me. You know what I'm saying? Selena and Bruce. Those are my favorite couples. And the cartoon had a lot to do with it. But me and the lady love some Rogue and Gambit. So I thought we'll get to the movies a little bit, but I think you're right. That should have been Kitty Pryde, and they give it to Rogue because her popularity on the show. The cartoon had a lot to do with it, I feel. So I agree with you. Then we didn't get a real good Gambit in the movies. I guess him and Wolverine wasn't that bad, but I wanted a Gambit movie, damn it. I didn't get one, so. But those are my other favorites.
I don't know why they keep doing that to Kitty, though. I mean, I don't know what is Fox or Marvel scared of, because I mean they did it to her twice, right? Like they did it to her in the '90s cartoon. They replaced her with Jubilee, because Jubilee was Shadowcat, and then in the movies they replaced her with Rogue. So I don't know. They just don't want to use Kitty. I don't get it.
They gave her like 2-second cameos. In the first movie, it was she ran through the door when she's like, "Oh, I forgot something, Professor," and runs through the door. Then the second one, was during the mansion attack, and she was evading the soldiers, Stryker Sport soldiers. She like floated down from her bed and stuff, and just started running through people. That was dope.
I mean, her power set is cool, right? Like she can go through things. I mean, who can kill Kitty when Kitty's on her game, right? Like nobody can really kill her. Like things go through through her. And I forgot which comic book it was. I think it was it was Marauders. Remember the fight she had in Marauders where she took a gun and phased it through somebody's leg and then left the gun there?
Left it there, yes.
Yeah, that was so cool. I would love to see that in a movie.
That was Kate Pryde, bro. That was Kate. Not Kitty no more.
Kitty wouldn't do that, but Kate would.
Kate would. Yeah, man, she did that. She went into the tank or something like that, and that whole scene was great. They made her look great in that series, man. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Heck
yeah. Red Queen.
Yeah. So let me take a quick sip. I already need a sip, man. So yeah, so you got all those movies in the movies, and of course we got the MCU. What we thinking in the future? We'll talk about that a little later. Um, Real quick, do you guys have favorite runs? Like we're gonna go a little bit away from the movie real quick, and we're gonna go to the comics. You guys have a favorite run you like to talk about um around those times? I know Phable, you joined comics a little bit later after you left it, but you must have favorite run too. So we'll start with Steph, and then we'll go to you. Um,
Favorite runs? It's so hard. Particularly, like, I love Claremont stuff. I love the 200s, like when they were just like, that's when they were getting a lot of villains and stuff. The later 200s, like the Outback era, when they were in Australia and stuff. The 90s, even the mid 90s, when it was like Operation Zero Tolerance and stuff like that, and when Cannonball and Marrow were on the team, when Shadowcat and Killer Kitty, Colossus, and Nightcrawler made a return when Excalibur ended and they came back to the X-Men, that was a big deal. Like, I'm fond of a lot of, but I really love, I know it's a hot topic, but I love Grant Morrison's new X-Men. Like, that,
yeah.
to me, it came out when I was like going on 13, like 2 months before I turned 13, and it just, like, I don't know, like, X-Men had always been cool, but I was like, man, this is like X-Men with some edge, man. Like, it was just modernized the X-Men for me. I felt like the natural evolution for what the X-Men were supposed to be at that point in time, to me. I didn't realize till years later how divisive Grant Morrison's run on X-Men was, but I'm really fond of that run.
That's a good 3-year run, right? That's a good 3-year run, and that run right there. Yeah, I love that run. That run, like, anybody who see my origin story knows I've been in and out of comics for different kind of reasons. Never because I hated them, never because there was different reasons. Anybody want to see that? I got somewhere in my archives. I'm gonna have to bring that out one day so people see it again. But but when I came back to comics, the first time, because after the late 90s and all that happened with the LCSs, no LCS, whatever, like, it was hard to get comics. When I moved to Florida and everything, the Grant Morrison run was the X-Men run that was going on at that time, and I dug it. I went back and got a few of the back issues, and it was something different, but it was a good different. Because it was different, but it wasn't really. It was just like, it was like Grant was taking some of the Claremont run and bringing it over to his run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So I dug the X-Men, that run, so good. But sorry to interrupt you. Any more runs before we go to Phable?
These are all more modern, but I think that it was because I think they were geared towards me at that age. Like, I'm fond of the Ultimate X-Men. It's we were near perfect, but it had a lot of cool ideas going on with Ultimate X-Men. Age of Apocalypse, Eric. Yeah, I can't believe I love Age of Apocalypse as well. We were just I was talking to Phable about Generation Next because Mark showed that earlier. What else? Grant Morrison. Oh, Joss Whedon. That he gets a lot of flack now, but Joss Whedon and John Cassidy's Astonishing X-Men is beautiful run.
Yeah, that's Astonishing. I keep hearing about that. I never got to read it. They had the omnibus of it, and that sold out, and then the reprint sold out. And I didn't really pre-order before I could do that. So, but now I know to do that stuff. So if that comes out again, I'm making sure I get that because I keep hearing how good that run is.
It's like, I actually kind of liked Scott and Emma as a couple, and that's the run that kind of cemented them as a couple. Like, Grant Morrison set it up, but it was Joss Whedon who developed that relationship and they were like, oh wow, they actually kind of do work as a couple. Like, so that run owes a lot of that relationship owes a lot of that to that run. That the strength to that run.
All right. So you got any more, or do we go to Phable?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I the whole run, all of X-Men. I love it all.
All X-Men.
Extreme X-Men.
We'll go to the cons of the X-Men a little later. We're getting there. I'm just trying to like juice it up a little bit. Phable, do you have a run that it could be now or in the 90s that you love a lot or something you've been reading?
I mean, I got in where Claremont was king, right? So this was the height of Claremont, 1987, 1988, to about 1991. Man, I loved. I think at that time he was working with Barry Windsor Smith or JR, one of those two artists he was working with before he got with Jim Lee.
Yep.
I love that, that whole Wolverine versus Sabretooth fight thing, that was going on at that time. But once I got in, I had to go back and read a bunch of stuff, right? Because we're talking about 70s, early 80s. I wasn't around for any of that stuff. So that's Phoenix Saga, Days of Future Past, a bunch of stuff like that. So I tracked that stuff down, ended up loving all of it. Loved every bit of it. So I would just have to say mostly the Claremont run is my favorite.
So good.
But mostly towards the end though. Because it's like you said, the 90s cartoon. Yes, sir.
Wait,
yes,
show
sir.
that. Hold up. You know, I gotta put. Show that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's it right there. That's what it was for me.
Yes,
you know what
sir.
I mean? So, towards the end though, there was a storyline where Professor X went off to help Lilandra, which was like his girlfriend or his wife at the time. I'm not 100% sure. And the X-Men were kind of running themselves, and Professor X, Magneto, was actually hooked up with them
at the school, like
that. Yeah, and Rogue was actually having an affair with Magneto.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys remember. That was before Gambit was trying to.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that whole ending, like before Claremont left, and Jim Lee started the regular X-Men run, without the Uncanny. But yeah, I would say Claremont for sure, man. Claremont's run encompasses most writers' whole careers and then some. You know what I mean? If you think about how many arcs that man came up with, him and John Byrne, him and Lee, him and Barry Windsor, and I don't know who was working on New Mutants, but he was doing New Mutants as well at that time. Man.
And to think he supposedly he said he had 4 or 5 more years left in that run that he had planned out before they brought Jim Lee in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I can imagine he was pretty upset that they took him out, and he even says that they brought Jim Lee in, and then he left Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Did that whole
like
he's
they
still trying to do this day
X-Men are.
thing.
He deservedly should be, a little upset about that, because pretty much everything they are is owed to.
Robbie, what's up, bro?
To Chris Claremont.
Yeah. No, I agree totally. It's very hard to top. Within his run, you have miniature arcs and runs, right? Because he worked with different artists. So which one of those within his run is your favorite, right?
Right.
He's so prolific that you can actually break down his run into eras. Which Claremont era do you like? You know what I mean?
So I gotta go. 91. So yeah, right. You said you gotta go.
The only two people I think that are more prolific than him are Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And then there's Chris Claremont.
King.
You know what I mean? That's how big and influential I think that man is and his run is. And say what you want, you can go back in hindsight, nitpick all this, wordy, whatever. I've heard all kinds of criticisms of Claremont. You can say whatever you want, but I guarantee you, I could almost bet my whole collection on it that 90% of this community has some love for the X-Men. And it's probably rooted in some of Claremont's work.
Yeah. I don't think people they know about him. They respect it, but they don't really mention him a lot.
Yeah.
What he did for the X-Men, that whole thing, because it was in reprints. I mean, people didn't really like the early run like that. You know, from '66, boom, and you know and then he brought it back in issue 94, right before the Giant Size issue, and boom, the rest is history. Robbie says Peter David is also an incredible, prolific creator. Yes.
Doesn't get enough credit. Yeah, I agree.
Love that man. Absolutely. Love that man. So cool. Like you said, you guys both said the eras that I like. Of course the new X-Men with Morrison. I really enjoy that. I have the omnibus there. I'm gonna read it one day. I haven't got a chance to really read it. Now here comes the part that what part? You guys know where I'm going. There's a part of the times where people just didn't like X-Men books. They just didn't like it. It became a joke, and Phable, we know how you feel about the Terrigen Cloud era. You know, when you came back in. So, let's just go after it. You know what I'm saying?
I refer to that as the era Marvel tried to kill X-Men. They tried to suffocate them. They tried to make Inhumans cool. Like, you know, at this time, they reduced X-Men down to three titles, and their X-Men had always had, you know, since it blew up, like a plethora of titles, like minis. There was only 3 titles when they were trying to make Inhumans happen. It was called Uncanny X-Men, but it had no X-Men. It was like Magneto, Sabretooth, Mystique, M. Like, it was like a variation of X-Force. You had Jeff Lemire's Extraordinary X-Men, and I think there was one other book, maybe Astonishing X-Men. Oh, X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold. Those were good.
X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold.
Well, I like X-Men Blue more. X-Men Gold was But I
hear that.
Just a dark period.
That would have Kitty Pryde in it. But did you like the Colossus Kitty Pryde? Did you fall for the whole wedding thing? Did you know that was gonna happen when that didn't happen?
Yeah, I wasn't that invested. I was like, if they get married, they get married. If they don't, they don't. Like, there's so much back and forth between them over the years. I actually like her with Pete Wisdom.
Oh, okay. How about you, Phable? I know you didn't come back yet for that wedding part, right? When them two were getting the wedding, so you probably avoided that.
Luckily for me, I avoided all the bad X-Men. When I left, they were good, and when I came back, they were good. So, I'm sure there was good stuff in between. I mean, we're talking about 25 years, right? There's got to be. I love that idea that Kitty Pryde got with Colossus. I got to read that. That actually interests me a lot.
Astonishing X-Men.
Well,
yeah. I was totally angered that Marvel would even attempt to get rid of the X-Men and replace them with the Inhumans. Like, it was just... I was so glad I wasn't around for that, because if I was, I would have been... Just hearing about it upset me. You know?
Robinson, my favorite X-Men is the Hall of Famer Derek Jeter. I can't argue with that one. You know what I'm saying? That guy,
he's right. I'm glad I missed that era, because everybody tells me like that was like you said, the dark ages or the dark period.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Yeah. When I came back in 2017, that's what was happening. Was the Inhuman versus the X-Men. So I was picking up all that to end up reading the end that the Inhumans won that, and I'm like, no way, man, no way. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't kill completely the X-Men. It looks like they were going that way with that whole thing. But yeah, I didn't love that neither. I guess, you know, with the whole Fox and the situation with the X-Men, so they really try to push that Inhumans to us. Which that show, I don't know, like, you guys seen that episode? My goodness, I was just like, I do not understand what's going on here. What is this? I didn't like that episode. So, Stefan, you like that episode, or you did you get to see
which
it?
episode?
The Inhumans, the
TV
Inhumans?
show.
Oh no, I did not watch that. I haven't seen one.
Don't
second.
you don't need.
I refuse.
I saved you the time. That it wasn't worth it. I was just like, I'm glad, like whatever. But but
Well,
to each his own. But that Terrence and Cloud, I don't like that. I like when they finally got away from all that, and then of
Right.
course, I was actually digging the Matthew Rosenberg Uncanny X-Men run from the beginning. They hyped that up and all that, and then they ended up cutting it for the Hickman run, which at the time I wasn't upset, but I was like, damn, they gave my man Rosenberg they did dirty. But Hickman history with the Hawks and Box and all that ended up being great. But that time Matthew Rosenberg, he had to take whatever he was dealt with all those dark ages, make how did they say make chicken soup with poop or something like that. You know what I mean?
It turned shit into a 5-star meal.
Yeah. So, but he was doing a good job, and so of course they announced that, and towards the end on it was what it was. But speaking of the Hickman run, now we love the Hickman run and all that, and then now it's slowed down. Now we find out he's kind of leaving, but now he's back doing the unlimited. I still don't understand that. You want to explain that a little bit, Phable? You don't understand it. The whole he's coming back for Hickman for the Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, him and Declan Shalvey are doing a digital Marvel Unlimited series that's based in Krakoan, X-Men stuff. But other than that, I have no idea. I don't know the title. I don't know when this is slated for. Yeah, all I know is Declan Shalvey and Hickman are doing something, and it's on Marvel Unlimited, and it's X-Men related, which kind of came out of nowhere. But
yeah. So
we'll see.
I have Marvel Unlimited, so I'll probably check that out. Any of you two have Marvel Unlimited? No. So yeah, I'll let you guys know if I like it or not. You know what I mean? It's probably good. It's Hickman, right?
Remember he was I said it earlier, but in his interview
Go ahead.
when he said that we were talking about this earlier, but I was just trying to elaborate. But he said that he wanted to do some online stuff when COVID happened to kind of keep pushing along, but Marvel's kind of put a stop to that. Maybe this is those plans, but evolved, kind of he's doing them in a sense.
Thank you, JT. We always count on JT.
Thank you, Jarvis. Thank you.
And he does not approve of the Derek Jeter mentioned by Robbie. He does not approve. Yeah. So quick before we go back to the movie, there's any other runs you guys want to talk about before we get to talk a little bit about the movies?
Well, one run that I haven't read that I hear about that I'm interested in, and maybe you guys can help me figure out which numbers to get or which books to get. But I'm interested in when Scarlet Witch said no more mutants.
Oh, that was House of M.
That's House of M? Okay. I gotta go read back House of M. Would you recommend House of M or was it
I love House of M.
Not too good. Yeah. Okay.
That kind of
time. Good.
A lot of people. Civil War is almost like the kickoff for these big events that have been going on for the last few years. But I like to say House of M started that. Because there was really nothing before that. House of M started. Then a year later was Civil War. Then a year later was World War Hulk and Secret Invasion and Dark Reign and Siege. And it's just been events ever since, annual events ever since House of M, for the most part. But I really that was a super dope series to me. You had, I don't know how you pronounce his name, Olivier Coipel. He's it spells like Oliver, but I don't think it's pronounced like that. And Brian Michael Bendis. It was it's a lot of stuff. So Brian Michael Bendis took over the Avengers, and he did this run called Avengers Disassembled, where the Avengers just got obliterated. Long story short, and it turned all this crazy stuff started happening, and they had a few casualties, and it turns out the person who had made all that stuff happen was Wanda. And I was that she had pretty much lost her mind, and so
You know everything you need to know about how them street books.
Anyways, superhero community came together to like decide on whether or not, how should we handle this? You know, like she's rearranging the reality. Says you can't just really just like it's just a bad day type stuff. And so some people were like, I don't really remember them saying they wanted to kill her, but they're like, we kind of need to get rid of her. And other people are like, of course, there's always another way type stuff. Before they could get to her, her brother Quicksilver had heard all this and ran to her. It was like, yo, they're debating on whether to kill you right now. Like, you need to do something. And so she just like rearranges reality. And like mutants are the dominant species in this reality. It all comes crashing down, but at the end, like Magneto, he comes back to his senses and he's like, you've embarrassed me, yada yada yada. You're a blight on me, and he like kills Quicksilver, and so she like loses it. She's like, I changed reality for you, mother, and you're still not happy. You are the king of all mutants, and so she was like, the only way you can be satisfied if there is no race for you to try to be king of. And she's like, no more mutants, and like it just rearranged. Like it was a weird. They kept saying like 200%, or like there's only 200 mutants left, or only 2% of the mutant populace left. But there's only like it went from like hundreds of thousands, millions to just like a couple hundred mutants around the globe. So
right,
yeah.
I always find that storyline intriguing to me, only because it seems to have reverberated through time, right? Like, to this day, she is public enemy number one for all mutants. Like, so I always found that interesting.
They were kind of happy that she was killed. You know what I mean? That's why Magneto had this old trial going on right now. So like, they weren't really sad in Cocoa that she died. You know what I mean? So like, speaking of the comics and all that, like, do you really think they'll use that towards the MCU? Because a lot of people will always, like, when WandaVision was out, that's all they would talk about. That's how they'll bring back mutants in the X-Men with her saying that word. You think that they will still use that in the MCU?
Well, I mean, she could say it, but there really be no. I see them heading towards Avengers Disassembled stuff, where she's just kind of losing her grasp on reality, and she's kind of, she can alter reality, so that's kind of dangerous. But her saying no more mutants, there really would be no point because they haven't really set up mutants in the MCU yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's, if they do establish mutants, that'd be like years down the line. Like, how will Elizabeth Olsen be when they, if this comes to it? So her saying that particular line or erase the mutants, maybe not so much, but her becoming like a liability because of her power set and her mental condition, I think that's gonna play into stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I think they might sort of use that a little bit. Try to use that just a little bit, but not really tell people that's what it is, because that's what you see a lot. And
maybe it's like a reverse, and she like makes the mutants flourish, like more mutants or something like that. She like more. There should be more people like us, and she's the reason there's that's very far fetched because that's so not part of the canon. Like, I think it would upset a lot of people, but who knows? Marvel's been surprising me a lot lately.
They'd have to change it a little bit, because you just said that Magneto killed Quicksilver, and that's what set her off. But in the MCU, Quicksilver died by fighting
Ultron.
Who were they fighting?
Ultron.
Yeah.
Oh, if they were fighting Voltron, that'd be cool. Sign me in.
Sign me up.
Sign me up. There you go. Oh boy. So yeah, they will have to change. That's what I'm saying. Like, the MCU changes things up a little bit with their continuity, but with this whole multiverse opening up with Loki and all that, who knows? They could go anywhere with this. We don't know. Everybody thinks they know. You see all these comic books raising prices because everybody's specking over here, specking over there, and that one comic that was $2 for so long, might be the one everybody really wants. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Right.
So
No, for sure. And we're dealing with this multiverse concept that they're introducing into the Marvel universe. I mean, that may be their MacGuffin. That may be their end
Right.
for all the missing characters that should have been there in your mind. You say, oh, they, how you gonna do Fantastic Four? They're like Marvel's first family. Doesn't make sense that they're not around, or that there's not a Baxter building, or mutants. Mutants have been around since the beginning of time, according to Marvel. So, all the comic fans know this going in. So maybe that multiverse is how we resolve this.
There, in Spider-Man: Homecoming, they were, Tony sold Stark Tower or whatever, and they were packing up everything, and the plane, and Vulture was trying to hijack the plane. There's I saw a theory somewhere that that's going to be turned into the Baxter building, or maybe someone that bought it out is going to be so that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be mad cool.
But trade paper, yes, but it was retconned that they're not his kids around 2014, 15. Yeah, it was Marvel instituted that when they're trying to kill the X-Men.
You gotta love this retcon stuff. When they realize there's a mistake with we'll retcon it and do something.
Quicksilver's and that's not his dad. They just look like they have the same color hair, same features, but no, that's not his dad.
And then sometimes they think they're doing it for the better, and they make it worse. You know what I mean? That's what's going on in the Nick Spencer run. I know Robbie's not loving that run, and I understand now. The last couple of issues, he talked about in his review, there was some retcon stuff in there. I didn't read the new one, but the one in the last one, Amazing Spider-Man 72. There's a few retcon stuff in there that I'm just like, I can't wait to cover that with Sam, because it kind of saw me do another light there, oh no, you know what I mean? So I'm afraid to read that new comic that came out today. You know what I mean? But that's Spider-Man. We're talking next, man. So real quick, so you guys, what are you guys' prediction? What are you gonna see them do for the MCU? Do you believe that? What do you guys believe? Because obviously we're not getting it till phase 6 or something like that. That's how I feel. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
we had a little bit of a discussion in the back chats about this. I came up with a sort of theory of how you can do it. I don't know if it's any good, but I'll tell you guys what I think, or what I would want to happen, because I don't like the idea that some cataclysm or some chemical or some energy made mutants come into effect. You know what I mean? I don't like that idea. I like the fact that mutants have always been around, that they've always been shunned, that they've always tried to hide themselves and be out of the public, and it could possibly that could be a possibility in the MCU. I don't know why everybody that has powers has to be involved in fighting Thanos.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not real, because Daredevil wasn't there. Punisher wasn't there. You know what I mean? And these people are in the MCU, right? I mean, those Netflix movies are MCU movies. The lawyer, Matt Murdock, he's about to be in Spider-Man from what I hear, right?
Yep.
So
yep.
That's confirmation that these are characters in this universe. So my thing is, there was a 5-year gap, right? 5-year gap. I say mutants have always been around. They've just been hiding themselves over a long time. Some mutants even formed the Hellfire Club and used their powers to gain power and money. You know what I mean? And yeah, for nefarious reasons. Things like that. So I think you should have the school, Xavier gathering children that he discovers with Cerebros all over the world, gathering them, doing what he's...
The actual Cerebros, not Verno, right? Not Verno, but the actual Cerebros.
I mean, it would be cool if it was Verno, but yeah, just the Cerebro. And he's linked up with Magneto. Eric is his best friend. And I would have it be that one day, they're at the school, regular school activities. they get the news that the Avengers and everybody's fighting this invasion, Thanos' invasion of Earth, right? And I would have it that Magneto tells Xavier, we got to do something. We're the only people that can do something. We have all this power, and we don't do anything with it. All we do is run and hide. That's all we do. We can't leave the humans to defend the Earth against this madman. And Xavier will be like, nah, it's not time yet. We're still hated. We're still hunted. What's to make you think if we come out now that they won't hunt us after Thanos is gone? You know what I mean? So the snap happens. Children start disappearing, turning into dust. Children. Now imagine you see a child vaporize in front of your eyes, especially your children, your kids that you're taking care of. Vaporize in front of you. Did. Right. And Eric, Magneto, vaporizes as well. So that it empowers and fuels Charles to begin weaponizing his students, forming the X-Men, covert operations, guys, you know what I mean? To make sure that this kind of thing never happens again, right? Flash forward 5 years. Now we're in the present MCU time. X-Men have been doing their thing for a few years now. You know what I mean? It's been 5 years. 5 years is a long time. A lot of things can happen in 5 years, right? So they can be well along. All the characters come back, right? So Magneto comes back. And just as Xavier's about to be happy, like, hey, look what I did. I established all this for you. Once you left, I found my purpose. And he's like, well, none of this would have happened if you would have took my advice from the very beginning. So you know what? I'm going to do this on my own. And he forms the Brotherhood. We got the whole mutant story right there.
Bro, they should just hire you, bro. What are they doing? You know what I mean? That is awesome. I can't top that. We have Dank saying Wilson Fisk needs to be mayor. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. I'd love that. Verno wants that Hollywood payday, JT said. You know what I'm saying? Eric said that would be cool. And then Disney showing Madripoor in the MCU makes me hopeful of the X-Men. Yeah. I mean, we all got hyped when we heard that name. Like, anybody who knows X-Men know that name. So, very, very hype. Steph, you have a whole synopsis of what you think is gonna happen, or did Phable take it all?
I mean, we've been debating that, just come up with theories.
Come up with that anyway. Yeah.
No, not to say that, but like more my thing is more or less what era they're going to adapt. Like, it's easy to kind of pull from, like, you got Kirby's Avengers and you got like the Ultimates. There aren't really too many different starts for Avengers teams. Maybe the new Avengers better incorporate so many different elements like Spider-Man, Wolverine, stuff like that, off people who weren't necessarily considered as Avengers. But I think to kind of streamline the process, it might start off with like the giant size and amalgamation almost. Maybe it won't be everybody. They might borrow people from the Gem Lee era, Gambit Road, whatever. But it'll be a squad trying to being assembled. Maybe not for sure, but the OG 5 X-Men. That way Marvel can still say the OG 5 X-Men existed. You don't necessarily have to see them, but you know that they were a thing. So that way you can get a bunch of X-Men, a bunch of mutants in one movie at the same time.
I think you could give it a short introduction for them too. Yeah. You don't need this whole movie for it. You've had introductions in the past. They did it in Spider-Verse. You know, a lot of people, that's a cartoon movie. No, they did it good.
They showed it in like a montage. Yeah.
So
the whole thing that I just went through that sounded like a 2-hour movie, that would actually just be the first 15 minutes.
No,
the first 15 minutes. That's how we just open, and we could flash forward 5 years, and go with what Lynk's saying. Let's whatever, the OG 5 have been kidnapped. They're stuck on Krakoa. We need to find new X-Men. And then the hunt for Wolverine, the hunt for Storm, the hunt for Nightcrawler, the hunt for Colossus, all these X-Men that we love, man. I would be totally down for that.
Maybe the OG5 was original students, like he didn't train all of the students for combat almost, just his first class, and them getting kidnapped makes him realize, yo, I can't keep relying on them. I have to start spreading the resource, find other, I have to open up my views. I have to start training all my students, something along those lines. But who knows? They could borrow, because they could do something with Hickman's stuff. Like maybe mutants will start off. They've always been a utopia. It's already been a culture, and that's where the split happens. Is the divide, and
I think they will touch that. You know what I'm saying? I think they do. Like in the movies you've seen in MCU, they do touch the comics here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I keep going. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
I agree with you.
But maybe they have the utopia, and that's where they split. And Magneto's like, yo, I'm about to go do something, and we're gonna assert our dominance, and that's what makes Professor X assemble an X-Men team, because they've got to go stop Magneto and his goons. There's so many different ways they could open up the mutants in the MCU. Just a lot of history with X-Men. Yeah, it's just
it's they could use so much with it. I'm pretty hyped. I think the MCU's been, for the most part, some people like this movie, some people don't like, but for the most part, it's been successful. Mostly all their movies. So I'm confident that they will get something right where most of us will like it. Because let's be honest, a lot of people are a little jaded with the other movies, and it's gonna take a lot for them to love a movie. So,
or maybe it won't even be Magneto as a villain. There's got so many villains they can. I don't know, there's a lot of different ways.
He's technically like an anti-hero, for a while. So would that be bad to make him an anti-hero a little bit? Because
I would build him in a way where he can flip to being good quite easily, and the audience would buy it. I would always keep him sympathetic. Even though he does messed up things, I would still write him in a way where it's like, I still love that guy, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because of Magneto, if you read the early stuff, he is a villain. Like, he's a complete dick. You know what I mean? But along the times, especially Claremont, you see he's mostly what he believes in with the mutants. He fights for the mutants, and for him, that's good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the kind of thing you probably...
There's a lot of gray.
You saw some of that in the movie, but now a little bit anti-hero trying to show people, oh, I am good. I could be good. You know what I mean? And then but he messes up a lot because he's freaking Magneto and he can't help himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I would just hope. I would just hope that they keep. I don't know what X-Men is for you guys, right? X-Men could be different for everybody, what it represents and what it means, right? But for me personally, X-Men has always signified acceptance and making people feel welcome or at home or part of a group when the whole world hates them. And also not letting that eat you up inside and just hate people because they hate you doesn't mean you should hate everybody too.
Right.
You know what I mean? You kill them with kindness, you kill them with love. Something that Xavier kind of tried to instill in his students. I know the world hates you. I know they wish you didn't exist. But that's because they just don't know you. They haven't met you yet. They don't know you yet. You know what I mean? I hope that core tenet somehow translates. Whichever way they want to do it. I hope that's core is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I want to go into chats real quick. That was like a good Kang will help the Avengers to fight a bad Kang.
Yeah, I can see it.
A Kang off. Roderick said. Roderick said, "Yo, station Boricua, Rod." Eric's like, what if Krakoa and Genesia gets mixed together a bit? Mutants always exist, but we're hidden on the island. Then it ends with the Genesia massacre, similar to the Morrison run.
That could work. I would think Sentinel should be a bigger presence. And there's been so many, that Matt Fraction had the Utopia X, their island, Genosha, Magneto's asteroid, whatever, island, whatever. the paradise they've got going on right now. Like they could all combine that, mesh it together.
Paper Dad, I want to see the High Evolutionary and Eternals movie.
It would make sense.
All right. We probably talk about Eternals in a future show. Who knows? You know what I mean? When that who else? I just don't want to miss anybody. Nick's at Station. He's on the road. And all that. Fargate's in the house. Station, my man. So yes, Monday, September. I said that earlier, but I'll say it again. Amazing Collector Edition show this Monday, 6 p.m. I thought it was 6:30. I'm gonna have to hit you up about that. Adjust the time. But yeah. So all right, we talked a little bit about the movies. We're an hour and 15 minutes in. No rush. I wanted to talk a little bit about the movies that did pass, but maybe we could do that in another show because I enjoyed this show so much. Or you guys want to talk about that now? The movie.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
Whatever you want. Yeah, I'm here for you.
Yeah, because I want to do a little show and tell. Like, I don't have much to show, but I think you guys might have something to show. So I want to make sure we have time for the show and tell portion of this wonderful show that came out, which I had a whole lot of fun. And of course, everybody knows I love it. Well, you know, that beautiful sight. Show and tell. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
I love it.
That's
love
genius,
it. Love
bro.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful sight. So I guess Steph, since you were my co-host for the show, both of you technically are, but
Thank you.
You wanna start the show?
Yeah. I'll get us kicked off. Show some of my favorite Uncanny X-Men keys real quick. Showed you my Wolverine. Showed you this is always a great one.
Beautiful.
This is the earliest issue I own of X-Men. Issue 48. Yeah.
Wow.
I got this when I was like 10 years old. It was only like $8 at the time, so I was like, yeah, heck yeah. I want some history. It's also one of the earlier issues I own.
Wow.
Here, guys.
Heck yeah.
And these are some of my favorite keys.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yes. Yes.
Not keys, but particular moments in X-Men history. Love this one when they go to Limbo.
Yes.
Fight Belasco to rescue Lyanna.
Heck yeah.
Carol Danvers' best form. Binary.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I love that cover. That's one of my favorite covers from that time, man.
Yeah, I love her design. Hey, Rose.
Yes.
Oh, there you
yeah.
go.
Oh my god.
Havoc, just being a beast, bro. Two of my favorite X-Men on one cover. Just
nice.
And okay, so this is Mark got me. I won't show every issue of my Generation X run, but because he's got them all. But I've got 1 through 10 plus this one shot I didn't know existed. This little is by Jim Mahfood. Hope I'm saying his name right.
What's that?
It's just a little special. Yeah, I didn't even know this existed until
man.
recently.
That's Chamber, right?
Yep, Chamber. Yep.
Oh man. Yeah.
And but these are for like the mid '90s, but they were going for a more unified look. You had Terry Dotson on art.
Wow.
Or the Dotsons on art. Skin Jubilee fight Juggernaut. These are a beat. These are like from when I was a kid, but Generation X.
Nice.
Got some Maggot showing up on Generation X. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get you a good picture so you don't get wrinkles in there.
Oh yeah.
Look at our boy Sink there.
Oh man.
Hold
on to those, Lynk. Hold on to those.
Yeah, bro.
Reader copy. Emma Frost.
Oh,
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that she did kind of become a good guy before Grant Morrison's run. She was headmistress for Generation X. Some more Dotson art. I got two more.
No, go ahead, man.
No rush, bro. No rush.
Damn.
Comes alive.
See, you're teaching me something because I had no idea that Dotson was around since that time.
Yeah, right. You'd be surprised, awesome. What issue? That shirt you're wearing, Herm, the
Station Real Rude.
There's just a bunch of artists in this. I believe Adam Hughes is in this, Greg Capullo, Stuart E. Moen. A bunch of big artists were Nick Station. Road.
Station.
John Stout.
John Stout.
Oh, and since we're on, I showed it before, but this is the only Generation X toy I still have. I gotta go track the rest down.
Oh, that's dope. Is that the one that sparks?
Yeah, I don't have it doesn't work. I used to love that. I used to pull it.
That is sick, bro.
But yeah. That's all I got today. Thank you.
Nice.
That is awesome,
nice.
Dude.
And of course, next is great job.
Hey, Station.
Time to blame.
Next. Time to do the blaming.
Here we go. So I came back into comics 2 years ago. I already decided a long time ago that I couldn't probably possibly track down or afford the candy X-Men that I would want, or really any of the old X-Men. So but luckily for me, they do have facsimiles and true believers and things of that nature. So I brought a couple of those today to show off, which I think represent a good chunk of X-Men history, right? So first comic I brought was X-Men number 1. Of course, the OG, the one that started it all. First appearance of everybody in this book. Right?
Yes, sir.
And I got Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, probably the most, X-Men number 4, Facsimile. Alright, so.
The Facsimile.
Then we jump all the way to the X-Men that I know and love, Giant Size X-Men.
Yes, sir.
Facsimile. This is a game changer, guys. Game changer. Yeah. I mean, it changed comics to the present, to today. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I loved it so much that, of course, when they came out with a kind of a remix where other artists would redraw panels from it, I had to get that.
Yo, yeah, that is that's a dope idea.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
I forgot who this was, but if anybody in the chat remembers, but there's a bunch of artists in here. They did different panels, and of course I had to get my boy Trad Moore.
Oh yeah,
version.
That's
of
a dope rendition.
Right, love Trad Moore, so got that. Then we skip up, and I couldn't find a facsimile, but I do got a True Believers of Moira McTaggart.
Nice.
Right, first appearance of Moira. And then Steph showed this one earlier, but I got a facsimile of it. Yep. Phoenix. So that's an
facsimile.
Yeah. Important errors. Everything I'm showing is a turning point. Another turning point, or not really, but very celebrated story, and a short story because I think it's 2 parts only, but a story that kind of foreshadowed X-Men for decades to come, and that would be Future Days. You know what I mean?
Days of
This
Future Past.
Story right here, Days of Future Past. This story right here was short and sweet, but I think it changed X-Men fundamentally, at least with a lot of things, right? When it comes to Nimrod and Sentinels and things like that, right?
Like their backs were always against the wall.
Yeah. Big issue there. Then I got another True Believers here. Famous cover, right? Everybody loves this cover.
Nice. Yes.
Right? And the X-Men spawned a couple of other titles. Most famously, I think Alpha Flight.
Yes, sir.
Number 1, right? It even says it on the cover. exploding from the pages of the X-Men. So, very integral team there.
The Canadian X-Men.
Our boy, who comes from that team.
Miller, Chris Claremont.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got that one. And I also got this one. Right? That's the ongoing, right? First.
The ongoing first issue. Yep.
Yeah.
All important to this X-Men thing, right? And then we fast forward to about 1991. And this guy comes out.
Fuego.
Right? And this kind of changed everything too, right? This was the 90s cartoon, man.
Yeah.
Just in comic book form, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So of course I had
you
to
better hold on to those, man. You can get your kids through college with that, yo.
I had to get all of them, right? So I got all of them. This is one of the first comic books I tracked down.
Oh yeah.
When I got back in, and of course the wraparound.
I must. Yeah, me
Nice.
too. I got all 5 again. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
then we fast forward a little more to another changing point in X-Men, and that would be X-Men Alpha.
Yeah.
All right. Joe Madureira. He became a famous artist at this time. And then I got the ending point of that, right? So X-Men Omega.
Yes, sir. Age of Apocalypse. My shit.
Yeah. And
My
I guess
jam.
the last gasp of this kind of X-Men, I guess, is here, right? X-Men Prime.
Yep. They came back.
Right? Yep. And okay, 3 more books, guys. That's it. 3 more books. Another changing point, I think, in X-Men history would be this issue right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Grant Morrison's X-Men, right?
Frank Whiteley.
Yes,
Beautiful.
sir. And then, we go to the most recent era. A book that I think will be sought after, wanted, should be in any X-Men fans collection, right? And that would be House of X. Powers of X, number 1.
Oh yeah.
If you want to get into X-Men of this era, this is where you need to start. There is no other starting point, guys. This is it right here. Everything you need to know about Hickman's Krakoan era X-Men starts right here. I recommend this wholeheartedly to anybody. This is the comic book that got me back in it, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys about X-Men today if it wasn't for these books right here. So that's my show and tell.
Sweet, man. Those was fire you guys show. I wish I brought out my X-Men list stuff back then. I'm going through a whole overhaul over here with my comics. But man, thanks so much for showing that, man. That was amazing. All
memory lane.
books. Yeah, memory lane. Eric Hoxpox, the books that made me a Wednesday warrior again. Yeah, man.
Yes.
It came out weekly.
Agree.
And all that. You know what I'm saying? But
I believe
that's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think did it start in July?
It's about that time again where Herm's phone acts really funny, and we're here awkwardly without Herm. So, how's everybody doing? Let's see. Justin Rican and his comics came in. Hey, shit. What's going on, my brother? There he is. Yeah.
Well, they kicked me out of my own show, man.
No, I think Pox started in September or July, and then that's my birthday month, so I'm like, oh yeah, it's a sign. Just like fun fact, I always
it started the month after I started collecting comic books. The next month.
Okay, so yep.
Yeah.
And the first X-Men movie came out the day before my birthday, so X-Men have always been, held a special place in my heart.
62 station.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the show, and then the feeling we had when the movie finally came out. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just amazing. Going in the theater and finally seeing, oh my God, the X-Men. And we've still got some time here. We might as well talk about those early X-Men movies.
Let's do
I remember going in the theater, and and being so hyped. I had some moments where I'm like, what? Like Magneto looked very old. You know what I'm saying? Even though I love the actor, don't get me wrong, but he looked very old. But Professor X, he was from the Star Wars, the Next Generation. Star Wars, look at me. Don't
Oh
confuse
my
me. I'm Star
God!
Trek
You,
fan.
Some people
you
might
could have
just take it
started
as
a whole
blasphemy.
What's up?
war with that statement right there.
He's
All the
just pulling
unsubs are
one on you
coming.
guys. He knows it's a Trek thing.
He's just
Yeah.
trolling. He knows what he's talking
Yeah.
about. He's just messing
Star
around.
Trek: The Next Generation was the show that was happening around when I was growing up. So the original show it was amazing, but the Next Generation was the show. And what's his name now? I forget the name. So anybody
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart
Patrick Stewart.
is being Professor X. I thought it was perfect. I thought that was Professor X. What do you guys think about that when it came out?
Oh, that was probably the most spot on casting there was.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman grew into the role, of course. He wasn't necessarily the idea person, but he brought out the energy or the soul Wolverine. I actually think James Marsden did a great job for Cyclops for what he had to work with. They could have definitely given him more, but he did fine for what he, that's Scott. Scott doesn't say too much. He does what he's told for the most part. He's by the books. Like, I think he did well. I'm just going on the casting. Halle Berry, Jensen, Femick, however you say her name. They got the job done. Could have been a little bit more inspired, but they did well for what they had.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen was old, but I love. He's just he did bring Magneto to life. Like, he's very charismatic as Magneto. Like
McKellen.
I love that line when they first meet at the beginning of the first X-Men movie, and he's like, "You're always around here, Charles." And he's like, "I'm just looking for hope." He's like, "I'll give you hope. I just ask that you don't get in my way." And he's walking off. He says some slick shit
oh man,
he's like,
just made the
"We are the
handstand
future,
on my
Charles."
arms, man.
Not them, yeah. He was.
They just had so much good chemistry. Too, that he sold you. He sold me. He's Magneto. All right. He's a little older to be Magneto, but because it's more the cartoon. Because in my cartoon, he's this tall, strong looking dude. And he doesn't look that strong. But his acting, I thought, was fantastic. Like he knocked it out of the park with that whole scene and all that. Yeah. And I can't say any much more about McKellen, but I agree with you with Halle Berry. Like she could have been a little more expressive, but I still enjoyed her. I don't think it was all her fault neither. I think they really didn't give her much to do.
Just focused on Wolverine. Yeah, no, it was the Wolverine show. Wolverine and the X-Men, essentially, Yeah.
And that's pretty much why some people hate Wolverine, because they was like, all these movies are Wolverine. I agree with that. Instead of just making an X-Men show, you know what I mean? Right. They made it. I will say this:
Rebecca Romaine now was a better Mystique than Jennifer Lawrence, even though she had way less lines. So that says a lot.
Well. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, no, I mean, yeah, spot on, bro. This thing came out in 2000, a year before 2000. It came out. The teaser poster was just that legendary X, metal in the circle. Yeah. And all it said was July 2000. I remember just seeing that poster, got me like, we're X-Men fans, right? So. It's happening, guys. They're doing it. They're finally live action X-Men. It is coming, guys. And then, the cast started getting revealed throughout that year, right? So when Hugh Jackman got revealed, I remember being so pissed off. I was so angry.
Yeah.
I was like, how do they got this Hollywood ballerina, 6 foot tall pretty boy to play my little 5 foot nothing, hairy fuzzball, cigar smoking, angry. How is this possible? They already messed this movie up already. Like, you know what I mean? I was specking hard. I was so pissed off. Then they revealed the rest of the cast. You had Patrick Stewart, which I agree with you 100%, Herm. I love Star Trek The Next Generation. And when I found out he was going to be Professor X, I couldn't have thought of a better person on the face of the planet Earth to play Professor X than Patrick Stewart, man. I mean, it was freaking perfect. And then everybody else, like you said, Halle Berry, come on. Who didn't love Halle Berry at that time?
Right.
She was super on fire.
Right, yeah.
The girl who played Rogue. Who played Rogue again?
Anna Paquin.
Anna Paquin. Oh my God, another one. Hot. Everybody loved that girl. You know what I mean? And then the movie comes out, and it's just like you said, dude. That beginning scene where they're at the United Nations, and they're trying to make their case to the United Nations, and Magneto shows up, and he says all those lines that you said, man. Chills, man. Chills.
Yeah,
chills.
It was just really.
They showed Wolverine at the bar, and everybody's like, they find out that he's a mutant because he cut some guy's shotgun off or whatever. Remember the guy put a shotgun to Wolverine's face?
Yeah.
And Wolverine just chopped the freaking shotgun off immediately. And, he had the hair, and he had the beard and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, they're doing it. This is it, man. We're here, man.
He's a real thing, yeah.
And
a lot of people
the movie may have been hurt by budget and a little bit of quirkiness in the writing, but I could say that they accomplished it. They did it. They brought the X-Men to the big screen.
And first X-Men movie is one of the rare movies where it's not based on like a pre-existing storyline or established, or like they took the characters and built something from what they had, like made their own world. But like Days of Future Past, we know what that's based off of. But X-Men 2 is based off of like what's it? God Love, Man Kills, or whatever.
Yeah,
it was just adapted differently. But X-Men is an original storyline, so gotta give it that much credit. Yeah, but I love how they always open with the evolutionary explanations too. Like evolution started, and it would go down the whole spiral.
Right. With the DNA and stuff. Yeah, that's dope. Yep. That is so dope. Yeah. And then the follow-up, I mean, quite arguably still my favorite X-Men movie to this day, X2.
Yes.
I mean,
before
Jesus
we get
Christ.
to the second one.
Oh, go for it.
Before we get to the second one, because I want to talk about the second one too. We still got time.
Go for it. Go for it.
We might as well. I love. I don't know if people might hate it or all that, but I love Jean Grey in this. You know what I'm saying? How you pronounce her name? I keep forgetting how to pronounce.
Something like that. Famke Jensen.
I thought she was. I enjoy her as Jean Grey, and I enjoy James Marsden. I'm getting these names back. Him as Cyclops. Did you guys like him as Cyclops?
Yes.
I enjoyed him. I think he did well with what he had to do with.
He was unknown at that time too. So big role to fill, and he filled it. He was Cyclops.
You seen like you believed he was Cyclops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you believed she was Jean Grey, and I just love the interaction with him and Jack, man. When like towards the end of there, when Mystique was pretending to be what was it, Wolverine, and then he's like Cyclops, like, how no it wasn't, how we know it's you, and then he's like, you're a dick.
He's like, fair enough. Yeah. I love the opening scene when Logan first wakes up in the school, and like he's like, and he like grabs Cyclops, and he's like, you want to get out of my way? And Cyclops just is kind of, he like looks at him up and down, looks over at Professor X, like, you want to handle this or should I? Type, doesn't say a word, but it's like,
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
He's like,
they definitely, they got the tone of those guys so perfectly in those lines, like you said.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that line. How I know it too. You're a dick. Like that was just brilliant. Yeah.
Me and my little, I call him my little brother. He's my cousin, but he's my little brother. We always use that line on each other. He's a kid. I was still using that.
How
line,
I know it's you.
How I know it's you. He's like, you're a dick. Okay.
Yeah.
We will always use that. You know what I mean? That's just, I love that line. Real quick, and then of course, Rogue. you were just talking about it earlier and all that, how she should have been Kitty Pryde and all that.
Kitty.
That aside, how you think her performance was as Rogue? Do you think like they at least did a decent job? I think they did. And she did the best she could do portraying her as Rogue. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think. Oh, you go.
Honestly, disappointed. I'm used to early 90s Rogue, sugar, honey,
Yeah.
Not a child. She is a grown woman, and she is a nice looking grown woman, you know what I mean? So, she was a kid, and she replaced one of my favorite characters, and like you said, I don't fault her, because I think she's a great actress, and I think she did what she could, But I would have liked her to be at least Kitty or Jubilee, not Rogue, because I wanted Rogue. You know what I'm saying? So a little disappointed, but not enough to say, oh, screw this guy, they got it all wrong. No, I love Anna Paquin, so yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the same thing when I saw the Rogue. I was like, that's not Rogue. You know what I mean? But I enjoyed the movie so much, and I enjoy her in it. That I was like, all right, I'll let it slide. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I definitely would have loved to see. But I just think they just didn't know how. They didn't have the technology and all that to have her fly and be, this awesome.
But then they're trying to keep that as grand, because you got to remember at the time they could only use so many characters. They had to keep it kind of contained, grounded. Like, where's she gonna get her flight powers from?
Right.
That. And at the time, this is 2000s. Teen movies were really big at the time. They're trying to, they're always trying to appeal to the younger kid audience. But what better way to appeal to the teen audience than a character who already feels like teenagers feel uncomfortable in their own skin? You know what I'm saying? She already feels uncomfortable in her own skin, on top of going through that, hormones, and she wants to get close to people, but she can't. Like, I think they were trying to play on that.
Yeah.
What do you want to call that?
Yeah.
The insecurity of teenagers and body changing and stuff like that.
There's a word for it. I mean, but I can't remember the word, but coming of life or something like that. You know what I mean? The
coming of age.
Coming of age. There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Coming of age. Yeah. So they do, like you said, teenagers movies and all that. They do touch on that, and like I said, the actors did a good job and all that. But yeah, we all wanted Katie Pryde. That's who she was supposed to be.
Right.
But we'll let it slide for now, because we enjoy this movie. Nostalgia all over the place. You know what I mean?
They wanted to emphasize on the because being Katie would almost be kind of too cool. She's Kitty who's always smart, or Kitty who's always been smart. Her powers, she's almost like a ninja. She can't, just very silent. Right. She can disrupt technology. And there would be no.
Let's not forget. My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, let's not forget that one of the most interesting parts of Rogue is that she's always being chased by Gambit, right? So she's like with Iceman in this movie. So that was kind of like a disappointment, right?
Yeah,
there.
That was a forced relationship, and that's part of Gambit's appeal. Like, he's a ladies' man that can really almost get anybody he wants, but he's so used to it. Wait, the one person he can't have what he wants. So I think that's a big part of the appeal is no matter what he does, he can't really have her how he wants her. So that's why they've always had a lot of layers to the relationship.
Right.
But being Kitty, I think they really wanted to make it dramatic. Like, being a teenager is already tough enough. Everything's already magnified in the end of the world. Like, on top of having those type of powers, like, imagine you teenagers already feel like stuff is the end of the world sometimes. Imagine, feeling like that, and now you have these powers where you literally can't get close to somebody without worrying of killing them, draining their life force. I got what they're going for. Like, emo Rogue, like, you would be depressed. You would be kind of emo, like they presented her. I feel like, that they really wanted to make it dramatic. Being Kitty, there would be really no problems. Like, Kitty's always been, even though I would love to see Kitty, I think they're just trying to really add that weight to it, and being, at the time, Kitty would have been too cool.
Too cool for school.
Yeah. And she always has been.
Sith Lord had me rolling. They should have done an American Pie type X-Men crossover.
Generation X. There you go.
Oh my God.
JT was one time at Bandcamp. Real Rule says he wants to see Rogue is my favorite X-Men, hands down. I think he says something about he wants to see a there you go. I want to see a full-grown Rogue. How sick would that be? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you,
do
man.
you guys think they will go there? Do you guys think they will have her steal Captain Marvel's power, and then who was Miss Marvel in the comics, but now she's Captain Marvel in the MCU? You think they will have her steal that or use that, and finally we'll get a good Rogue that we want in a movie? You think they will go there, or
they don't necessarily have to have Rogue steal Miss Marvel's powers? Like, it could just have been some mutant that had strength of flight and vulnerability, those power sets, and it just stuck with her for whatever reason. Like, but they don't necessarily have, it'd always be cool to see if they could do stuff like this, but only if it fits the storyline or the realms they've set up within the MCU. I don't want them to go out of the way just because it's in the comic books to make that connection when it's not organic in the overall story they're telling in the movies.
Yeah, agree. So we're gonna jump off the original X-Men movie, and we'll jump to the ones a lot of people's favorite real quick. X2 came out 3 years after the first movie. Did you guys think that was a very long time? Like, they actually 3 years between all movies, which is probably what you usually see. Now people try to do it sooner than that, but 3 years sounds like good. What? Go ahead.
No, that was a very long time. That's one of the reasons why the director Bryan Singer of the first two didn't come back for this third one, is because he felt like they kept bullshitting him with greenlighting the movie. He was like, I proved to you guys that these movies sell. They would always have him wait like a year, like X-Men come out 2000, they don't greenlight it until like the end of 2001. Like, okay, you can start making X2. He's like, you guys are wasting my time. I could be doing other projects. And so when this came around, like, they were BSing him on the third X-Men movie, and Warner Brothers was like, yo, you want to retell Superman, the first superhero ever? So he jumped at the chance. I've got these people willing to see my vision completely on a debatable on how good Superman Returns was, but I can see why he left, because they would always make him wait. He proved himself with the first movie. He made that happen. X2 elevated that. Made it even better. Okay. Widened the scales of the plot. Everything going on. The CGI was better, and they still did not give him a green light. Immediately, like, yeah, go ahead and make your X-Men 3. So that's I think that, yeah, even back then the turnaround time was a little longer, but even then, 3 years in between a hit movie, I think was maybe 2 years, but 3 years was still kind of too long. So
right.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes a long time to make a movie. I don't know, especially at that time, the technology wasn't there like it is now. But right here, she Real Rude says she will steal Hager's power and kiss her afterwards, and maybe give her a slight spank. Thinking that late, Herm. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
that kind of threw me off right there a little bit.
Is he talking about Hager from Street Fighter?
I want the villain Rogue, but grown and sexy. So Trade Paper Dad say he wants a villain Rogue before she's a hero, and all that.
Sure.
That'd be interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
That's how she started.
I mean, that's how she started.
Yeah.
She's Mystique's daughter. She's Mystique's daughter.
So people, they portray that. Oh yeah.
Let's not forget that. Yeah.
And guys, they have shows now. If they can't do everything in the movie, they could do some of it in the show. I think they proved it this year with WandaVision. They built. You could use shows like that you don't have to show everything like a lot of people wanted. They want everything in these shows. They just give you enough. So we could have a nice X-Men show. I would love to see that. A little X-Men, just to build up the movies. Woo!
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting a little ahead of
naturally,
not an X-Men.
I think that's where all superhero properties that have been rebooted 3 times, I think that's their natural next step. You're rebooting so many times because you can't tell this story in the, you know what I mean, the way you guys are telling it. You have to do episodes, episodic nature. You have, your universe is too large, and you have so many stories that you can play with. Yes, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, all of these things would lend themselves well to adult television drama. You know what I mean, done well. They would be fantastic.
And streaming is the future. You know, a lot of people like, I love the movie theaters, but how much longer are people going to go to the movies the way they're doing now? Like now, like after the pandemic, people are going to start going, you know, when things open. But so now, you know, this is another thing we could do. Like people are like, oh, you get tired of that. I don't get tired of it. I read comics all the time and I don't get tired of it. Same things with my show. I would love to see my show. What? Have an X-Men show? What?
Yeah. No, streaming is the way to go. But I think theaters will stabilize because I think people still enjoy that shared viewing experience of knowing, like, if you're viewing something and you're like, oh, this is so dope, there's a good chance someone else in that theater is sharing the same feeling. And I think it's like a subconscious thing that people really like that. You know, it's like a herd. Man, I don't want to say herd mentality always, but people like sharing stuff with others. You know, like shows are the way to go. Like you said, certain things you can't just fit in a 2.5-hour movie. Like some of these movies shouldn't even be 2.5 hours. Like, you know, some movies are okay to be an hour and a half. You know, you really are stretching, trying to condense too much into one thing. You know, so shows would. I think that is definitely the future. That would definitely help flesh out. You know, like you said, they're already showing it works with stuff like WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier and all those MCU shows. Like that's gonna definitely.
You don't have to ask how she got there because you can see it in the show. You know how she got there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Same thing.
You can take your time.
Right.
Yeah. You can take your time.
Man. I'm getting excited. I don't know if we're gonna get it, but I'm getting excited just talking about it. Go ahead, Phable.
Saying that about television shows. No. I know I'm on a little bit of a lag probably, but saying that about television shows, station. At the same time, X2 is a great example of how to mash up a bunch of stories into a 2.5-hour movie and make it work. X2 is probably the most shining example that I can think of doing this. I mean, how many storylines did they cull together? Maybe about 4 or 5 elements from 4 or 5
like Wolverine's
arcs?
Weapon X stuff. They amalgamated, like, you know, Stryker is a reverend in the comics. They made him a colonel, which is almost ingenious because it works so well. Like,
right.
Oh my gosh. Even they mixed some Hellfire stuff in there with Mastermind. He played his kid, but Mastermind, you know, his connection is a little bit more loose, but you know, they used Mastermind to a degree to really almost, well, he was tricking Jean Grey. He's like, he's what tipped her over to the dark side essentially for Dark Phoenix, you know.
Right. So
they're trying to use him, like they mashed a lot of stuff and it just works so well. One of the best sequences still to this day is the attack on the mansion, you know. Colossus and X-Men 2.
That was a whole nother thing. Yeah.
No, sorry.
That was a whole nother storyline. They mashed so many good storylines into this movie and they made it work so perfectly. It's not even funny. I mean, and another thing about X2 is you know, we were still fresh in superhero movies. I know Superman had come out. I know Batman had done their full trilogy of movies or whatever. Their reboots.
Spider-Man had been out for barely a year.
Spider-Man barely a year, but my lord, I mean, you could always imagine how would Nightcrawler look?
Right.
How can they do him? And man, did they pull Nightcrawler off. Holy smoke. That first 5 minutes when he's running through the White House was amazing.
I had never really peeped in the comics how deadly, like, Nightcrawler's effective, but he's always been so lighthearted. I had never seen that movie. Made me realize, like, wow, he could be deadly MF, or, you know, like, he could bro, the way he was going in and out rooms, just taking out everyone in the Oval Office or whatever, like, he was deadly. Like, Nightcrawler could be super deadly if he chose to be. Colossus, in the few seconds he armored up in X-Men 2, looked better than he did in X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men Days of Future Past. Because it's like he had panels. He had the lines like in the comics, but in like Last Stand, he was just like liquid metal. Like, it was just like it was almost like Silver Surfer type. There were no panels. You just heard like this liquid sound. But in X2, you heard like this layered panel sound, like machinery, almost like machine-like. Just super dope. It was just so well done. Katie, just great examples of people's powers being used. Like Banshee's daughter, Siren, when she wakes up, starts screaming, and it's almost shattering their eardrums.
Yeah. What about Nightcrawler? How they took the extra step and carved these little carvings into his face.
All
these little symbols in his in his face.
Religious symbols,
It's almost cooler than Nightcrawler than in the comic books. Like, now I want him to have those little symbols on his face. You know what I mean? It was so awesome, dude.
Yeah, X2 was amazing. I couldn't wait for you to get to that part. I know you wanted to talk about that Nightcrawler's part, man. I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh my god. I mean, there's a lot. We could talk about Magneto escaping from the prison. That scene is incredible. When he takes the iron out of Homeboy and creates little discs and starts walking on the discs, and the music that's playing at that time, it's like, this
just looks
like
Houdini. Yeah.
He's like, oh my god. So much. Oh, and like you said, Rebecca Stamos or whatever.
Mystique, man, how she got that? How she got in there? What she did with that dude, kissing him, and then did what she did to get that to him. You know what I mean? It was just like perfectly done, because he was in the whole plastic area, because he does metal, so they were trying to contain him, and then I love it. I love like when. Go ahead.
Oh no! I was just saying. I was just saying agreeing.
Oh yeah. I love the. I'm going back, but when Charles and Magneto are playing chess and in there, and they're talking to each other, and then Charles is always going. He's always I'm gonna get out of here, and all that. He's like, and I'll be there to stop you, kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right. And let's not forget the Game of Thrones guy was in there, right?
Peter Dinklage?
Wasn't Peter Dinklage in that one?
You're talking about Days of Future on X2?
Days of Future, which is the one with Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah, that's
she was being controlled.
Yeah. X2.
That's X2, right?
Yeah.
She had the claws. And they would put the thing in the back of her neck, right? Wasn't that X2? Guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat.
No, that was X2, but what? I don't know who's in Game of Thrones, because I don't think there was anyone.
Peter Dinklage. He played.
That's Brian Cox, who played Stryker.
No. Dinklage played.
He played Trask in Days of Future Past.
Yes. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm sorry,
but
I got it mixed up.
I think Stryker was in Days of Future Past, and he did associate with Trask, but he was just younger, so that's why you might. Oh yeah, absolutely.
62 agrees with Phable and Steph. You know what I mean? I agree too.
The only thing I like with Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique is in Days of Future Past, when she holds the guy by the neck with her foot. She does she just like, it's like a ninja kick, or like and she just got him pinned to the wall with her foot by the throat. That was just a badass scene. Mystique showed how badass she could be.
Yeah, I like Jennifer Lawrence, but I agree with that. Rebecca was just so much better. It's just hard shoes to fill there. And all that. What you guys think in this movie when they brought, of course we saw a glimpse of Kitty Pryde going through the walls in this movie. You know what I mean? You don't see a whole lot of her. That whole scene you were talking about in the mansion and everything. What you think about the whole Rogue and Iceman thing and Pyro in this movie?
They tried to I think with X2 they tried to really appeal more to fans and try to steer away from the teen shit stuff, but they still had that element in there for the teen audience. It was serviceable, you know.
Yeah, they try to cater to a lot of different people when they did this movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like not just one fans, multiple fans. That's why it's hard to these days to do movies like that. You know, you're trying to like make everybody happy, but you can't. You know, there's always somebody that's upset about something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. No, but this movie, I thought they did a good job just trying to fit all of that in there. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That Deathstrike Wolverine fight still brutal to this day, man. Like, great fight.
We did see a young Jubilee in here and all that. They didn't really use her a whole lot. There was a lot of Easter eggs in these movies. Like if you see it now, you'll be like, "Oh, that's who that is. Who that." Can you imagine if YouTube was around at that time with this movie? And people would have been like, "Oh, you know, it would have been." It would have blew up even more. That's how big this movie was. I remember before it came out, I had a friend who wanted me to watch it with him, even though I saw it twice in the theater. And he was like, "Come see it with me." He had a bootleg version of X2, so I could watch it with him. And then I ended up watching with him because you know that's what he wanted me to do.
Nice.
It didn't do it justice. Because
no,
you needed the good VHS tape to come out. I'm showing my age, but it's right before the Blu-rays. You know what I mean? The DVDs. So yeah. Anything else you guys want to share about this movie, real quick? Before we get to the one that not so popular. Oh boy. So I guess.
My bad.
No. I guess we'll head to. Okay, the show's over, guys. See you guys. No, just kidding.
That's what we thought about the third X-Men movie. No.
What third X-Men? That's still. Thank you. Come on, Mama. Thank you. That's still. You know how like Robbie on his show doesn't acknowledge the third Blade movie. A lot of people don't acknowledge the third. Exactly. a lot of people don't want to acknowledge this one.
You know,
I was so geeked.
Go ahead, Phable. Let's.
Oh no, I was gonna say that I think it gets a worse rap than it deserves. I don't think it's terrible at all. There is much more terrible movies in X3. Let's be very honest here. You know what I mean? Do I think there's a lot of bits that are kind of ridiculous that take you out of the movie? Sure. Juggernaut, that's all I gotta say. Just the Juggernaut parts alone. It's like, what? You know what I mean? But it's enough. There's enough silliness in there to make you feel like, okay, this is not as good as number 2 or even number 1. You know what I mean? But there are some scenes in there that are quite memorable. And of course, I'm talking about Jean Grey, confronting Jean Grey in her home, Xavier and Magneto and Wolverine. It's so good, that scene. That scene feels like it was directed by Bryan Singer. You know what I mean? But again, whatever's good, there's something bad. So that's why it's kind of whatever. But I don't think it's as terrible as people think or remember.
I was disappointed. I didn't think it was. When I saw it, I wanted to walk out of the theater going, I love that movie. And it was like one of the few movies that made me not say that. You know what I mean? There was some parts I did like of it, but it's just like I couldn't picture what I didn't like about that movie. There was a few things like Scott Summer getting killed off panel, off screen. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what? what happened? You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, Steph, you got anything before?
No, I was this movie. Was looking forward to it. I remember I had memorized the trailer. It came out my last day of high school, so I was like symbolic. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, it's meant to be. It's gonna be a great movie. I was a little let down as well. It's not. I agree with you. I don't think it's as bad. I think Origins is probably the worst X-Men live action adaptation. And it's not terrible. I don't think any X-Men movie is really terrible, but it's up there. The Merc with the mouth has no mouth, you know. But Last Stand, I think it rushed a lot of stuff. Like it
Like
was the shortest of the first three movies, and that's probably the movie you'd want to be just a little bit longer than the first two, just to wrap up all the plots if it's the saga stuff. They did kill Cyclops off panel, then almost nobody really cared. You know, it's just like, oh, Jean's missing. We found Jean and we found his visor, but you know,
this is like Cyclops died, but nobody cared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like you just said. It's just like I was disappointed because I liked him as Cyclops. You know what I mean? And
yeah, he deserved much better than that.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? It's like almost like you said, like they try to crunch so much into this one movie, and it's probably what happened. But I don't know. There was some cool parts. The Golden Gate Bridge, when Magneto brings the Golden Gate Bridge out to the island so they can get on there. I dig that part like that. Katie Pryde, you know, trying to fight the Juggernaut part was bad, but I like the role she had a little bit in it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm trying
Was that Juggernaut played by the Punisher, right? Wasn't he played by the Punisher?
No, Vinny Jones. Yeah. Vinny Jones.
Oh, okay. No, Vinny. Okay.
He was in like Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels.
Okay.
Those type of movies. A lot of Guy Ritchie stuff.
Yeah. A lot of people
we all know that one.
A lot of people were turned off with the Phoenix part at the end. You know what I mean? What was that happened? Like it was Wolverine or something like that. Had to kill her or something like that. I don't know. It's just maybe I really wasn't happy with this movie.
They rushed it.
Terrible. No, go ahead, Steph.
No, they rushed it because they had like with that mid 2000s was like they were trying to happen to Spider-Man 3. They tried to add too much, cram too much. X-Men 3 was supposed to be about Jean Grey and her descent into the Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, whatever you want to call it. They had that whole other subplot going on about the cure for mutants, you know, and mutants getting a cure. Like those are two movies that could have been their own topic,
own stuff,
and they tried to amalgamate them, and it just
because once Jean became the Phoenix, she became Magneto's henchman.
Yeah. Yep. She
became a Brotherhood of Evil Mutant. Yeah, she was just doing what he told her to do, and which I didn't understand when she could obliterate everybody.
And it always bothered me.
Magneto's lackey.
Right. No. Right. Exactly. It always bothered me when they first found her and like Professor X was explaining himself. He's like, when I was younger, I put a series of mental blocks in her, and Logan's questioning him, and Professor X's response was like, I don't need to explain myself to anyone, least of all you. It just seems so out of character, and just they seem like they rush stuff. Like maybe he could have said that under the right circumstances to show like he had a legit reason for stopping this, like or putting mental blocks on her, but he just sped through a lot of stuff that would have. You got to let movies breathe sometimes, It was like straight to the action with X-Men: The Last Stand. But it's funny because First Class was the first team movie after The Last Stand, and Matthew Vaughn was originally signed on to direct X-Men: The Last Stand, but he ended up leaving the project because he didn't think he could direct the movie in the allotted time the studio was giving him. He comes back and directs First Class and had less time to direct First Class than he would have had for X-Men: The Last Stand, and ended up knocking First Class out of the park, so it's just funny how stuff like that works out.
Yeah, man. I like, real quick, I like Kelsey Grammer as Beast. You know what I mean? I thought he was pretty good Beast. You know what I mean? And yeah. So yeah. So there was some good, like you said, Phable. It wasn't terrible. It's just like it's just
disappointing
the way it was put together and all that. But they were all good scenes. I say the same thing about Spider-Man 3. A lot of people. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm on a delay, so it's like I'm cutting you off. But my bad. I was just gonna say that I can name another X-Men movie that's worse than X3. But we keep going. Go ahead. My bad.
Wolverine Apocalypse? Maybe.
Oh boy, that's a whole nother show.
The only good part about Apocalypse is the Quicksilver Mansion scene. That's the only part I like about Apocalypse.
Like I said, that's a whole other. I don't want to open them worms. Chamorro Cinema gonna have a show soon, you know. It's like, oh, but I do want to watch those movies and discuss them here with you in the future show, man. That'll be a lot of fun. You guys will join me one day for that.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, real quick as we winding down with time. Anything else? What I was gonna say earlier, like Spider-Man 3, like if you rewatch it, there were parts I liked about Spider-Man 3, and then like parts were like you scratch your head. Same thing with Last Stand. You know what I mean? And that's why I won't call it the worst movies. There are worse, like Fantastic Four, the last one. Oh my god! But I'm just saying.
Let me throw this at you real quick about Spider-Man. Like, so in Spider-Man 2, they established that J. Jonah Jameson's son was an astronaut. Yes, he was dating Mary Jane. Spider-Man 3, Venom comes around. Out of everybody in the world, New York City, whatever, symbiote lands in a park next to Peter Parker, like one of the only people in the world to have powers. Like, they could have had it open it up with J. Jonah Jameson's coming back from space. The space shuttle's crashing or something like that. You know, it lands, but he survives. But in the process, their Venom was attached to the crashed space shuttle. Maybe Spider-Man ends up saving this shuttle from blowing up somehow or whatever. Could have had a perfect, he set up Venom so easily, but it was so lazy how they just threw up. Asteroid lands right next to Peter Parker, attaches to him. He's just gonna wear it. He's not gonna. It's just, stuff like that. Yeah, if you look at,
there was definitely a trend. There was definitely a trend of third movies being overwrought, overstuffed, overdone, from Batman 3 all the way to Spider-Man 3, all the way to X-Men 3. It was a bad trend. Thank God it's not like that anymore, but it was happening a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, Albert.
And Will said 62. That's true. Like, he's always gonna get mad at him when he's been a hypocrite the whole time. Like, talking about controlling Jean, bro. You've been controlling Jean her whole life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Why you think she acted like that, dude?
Right. Yeah, she's been locked up for the last 20-something years, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, man. But overall, these movies, like the first one, still love them. Jump started the whole thing. You know what I mean? That how we got. I know Blade did too, but X-Men really is where they took it serious and brought in Spider-Man. So I'm always thankful for X-Men, and I love it so much that they brought in Spider-Man. For me, my favorite too. So, and then that trickles on over and over. So those like I said, I'm gonna have to have you guys back on in another future show to talk about the next series of X-Men trilogy. That, hold on to your seats, but there's a couple of bad ones. There's a couple of good ones. Like Days of Future Past is one of my favorite.
Excellent.
So good. It's so good. So guys, thanks so much for joining me on the show. Been wanting to do an X-Men show. I was a little nervous. I was like, oh man, how I'm gonna start this? There's so much to talk about. But we were able to get some of the modern comics in there. So we were able to talk about this movie. A great show and tell by both of you guys. Thank you so much. Before I go on to my plugin, Lynk, you got anything happening right now? Like, that's coming up?
I'll be there. I'll be a little bit everywhere. You can find me. And the Backlog Bros. And PCP Bad Batch.
Station. All right, Phable, do you have anything coming up? You have any pop-up shows we might want to look out for or anything like that? You know what I mean?
No, not really. I'm just concentrating on my one show on Wednesday right now. I'm trying to make that the best it could possibly be. I'm trying to evolve it. Every show, I'm trying something different that I didn't try before to see if it works. I'm just learning, just like everybody's learning who I am. I'm learning who they are and how all this works. So I'm just concentrating on one show. That's the Blame Phable show every Wednesday, on Instagram Live at 1:30 p.m. I try to have a guest on here and there, but if I don't, it's okay. I got my two brothers with me, my brother Big Herm, and my brother Missing Lynk, and any other Bad Batch guy, TM and everybody. They might pop up here and there. So I'm just having a ball doing that, a blast. Today we had on my man Mark from Geeks Unleashed. If you guys like podcasts about comic book content, Nick Comic Culture, I believe, has been on this. Rebros has been on there, So yeah, that's about it, man. Plain Phable, and just real quick, did I see the last Star Wars turd? Yes, it was a turd. Thank you. And Albert, don't worry about it, man. It's up there if you need to rewind and watch it. Watch it anytime, my brother. I appreciate you always being in our chats, being in Herm's chat. So, Albert, don't worry about that, my brother. Much love and respect to everybody in the chat today. Big Herm is worth it. X-Men is worth it. Station.
Man, this was so much fun. I enjoyed all day with you guys. I got to talk with you guys before and now. Steph finally came through with the X-Men talk. Yes, we're trying to get him in here. Coming. I found him, guys. I don't know if I can hold on to him. He might go missing again. You know what I mean? He might go meet up with Waldo and Carmen Sandiego. I don't know.
Come up with more master ways to go missing.
Sif Flody said, "Great show, fellas, from the start to finish." Thank you, Sif. Thanks for being on here.
Sif.
You know what I mean?
Sif
Thanks to all you guys. Zuni, 62 Albert coming in strong. You know what I mean? 62. Still came in. Zuni, real rude.
Absolutely.
Up in here
real
tomorrow.
rude. Station.
Everybody.
Manny.
Next show we're having is the Tomorrow Show. Everybody knows the logo. I like doing that. But yes, he's coming up next. He's closing out Whiplash Wednesday strong with Seth. You said it better than I. What are they doing again?
I don't forget the title, but I know you're pitching franchise. You're combining like franchises, like whatever you want to. If you want Back to the Future somehow interacts with Land Before Time, pitch that story, pitch it, whatever it is. Maybe there's a movie where like homie don't play that, Ronald McDonald and Pennywise all somehow come together and interact.
Homie don't
play that. Got an idea for it? Homie the clown, sorry.
Homie the clown, and who else?
Pennywise, Ronald McDonald, whatever. If you got an idea for it, pitch it. But that's the vein of it.
Man, yo, I can't, bro. Bro, like I said, man, they should Marvel or somebody should hire you guys. You guys got great ideas, man. You know what I mean? Let these guys. Let's go.
We got
let's
too
get
many
them out there.
Never enough bits.
You broke me.
Never enough
me.
bits.
All right, guys. Real quick, I don't think I can finish the show now.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just thinking about this clown series that I need to see now.
We'll make it happen. We will make it happen.
Oh, I'm crying. Real quick, somewhere around, I can't function now. I can't. I have a haul video coming up tomorrow sometime, maybe 4 p.m., maybe a little bit later. I have a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. But it might be a prime time show too. We'll see. But look out for that. I'll make sure I plug it tomorrow on the Insta, on the socials and all of that. My haul from today. And of course, Monday, my man, of course, Fargate. You know what I'm saying? These are the Instagram, Facebook, and all that. Bruce Johannes. We're gonna have our monthly show, the Amazing Collector Edition show. Me and Fargate, where we go over all the collector edition shows that are gonna be available this month. That you can still pre-order all the new stuff, all the books that you can pre-order 4 or 5 months ahead of time. That way you don't have to wait for.
Right.
Let's say you want the Daredevil book I showed earlier. They're gonna reprint it. You can order that ahead of time and not wait to the last moment. Where these books, just like comics, not only do they shoot up, but they sell out. They sell out that day in 10 minutes. You have omnibuses selling out. Guys, can you believe that?
Yes.
Omnibuses $60, $70, $80, you know, because they are at a discounted price. Sell out like that. Like, oh my God. You know what I mean? These things are reprints. You know what I'm saying? But people still. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got to think they're collecting all these instead of you trying to track down the issues yourself. You got the story right there in one large sum. So it's like people will pay for that convenience. Yeah. Oh yeah. Binge reading, bro. Everyone's about binging stuff.
I do digital, but I prefer physical reading. Like the Daredevil book that I'm reading right there. I love doing that with the
flipping
page. Flipping the page is so much fun, and I can just go back. But because I know we just got No Good, the mayor station. He does digital too.
Station.
Station, thanks for joining us. So that's why, I talked a little bit about digital, but Major Collect this show Monday, I guess 6 p.m. I thought it was 6:30, but 6 p.m. Eastern. Join us for that, and I got another special show, Whiplash Wednesday next week. Our guy Sam from Sam's Tegaway will be back, and we'll have a special guest, another member of the Portland Comic Crew, up in here. Everything Comics. Bob, to talk about the Daredevil run. We're gonna be talking about the Frank Miller run. Go ahead, Steph. You can chime in.
No, I was gonna say that's must-watch material right there. You got
I was gonna say the same thing. Must-see TV.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
This is just the dust jacket. I got the book over there. I showed it earlier, but this is the book we will be.
That's clean.
We'll be discussing on that plus more. I have to read more after that book, so I got a lot of reading to do this week. But Frank Miller run with our guy Bob, Everything Comics. I am so excited. This is months in the making, and can't wait to dig that. And of course, another future show the week after that. Me and Sam are gonna visit Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi movie. Sam Octavius, that mean villain. So September 22nd, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna be all over the place with that movie. A lot of people's favorite X-Men movie. X-Men, look at me. X-Men still in my head. Favorite Spider-Man movie. X2 was a lot of people's favorite X-Men.
Yeah.
Part 2 Spider-Man, Sam Raimi is a lot of people's top there. I know Spider-Verse knocked
it's the cream of the crop.
People, but
I look forward to that, brother.
But I can't wait to talk. And everybody missed the first movie. Go in the archives, check that out on the replay. We're covering Spider-Man 2. Can't wait to dig into that with Sam. And then the week after, another 3 or 4 months in the making. I'm trying to look to see if I did put it in here. Another member of the Portland Comic Crew. September 29th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. A little special time. He wanted a 6:30 p.m., so he's gonna get it. Me and Sam Doom, whoever that villain is. Hopefully Sleepy Reader, Damien, special guest Damien from Sleepy Reader. He has an awesome channel, guys. I have all their links. Should have all their links in the description down below. If I don't, I will add it. Of all these guys, these shows. I didn't even say what we're gonna do. I'm so excited. I didn't even say what we're gonna cover. Conan the Barbarian. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Conan the Barbarian.
Dang.
I get to pick his brain on Conan. I know Phable loves Conan, so anything, guys, be there in the chats. You got questions of Conan, because I read Conan, but I don't know a whole lot about Conan. and it's harder to. If you didn't get the omnibuses when they came out, because they all sold out. I don't think Marvel's gonna reprint a whole lot of them. If you don't get them, it'll be hard, and you can't get it in Marvel Unlimited. So, any questions you guys have? End of the month, Sleepy Reader. Can't wait to get that show in. And of course, guys, I'm always trying to like plug Sam's, giveaway. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag Sam to 1K giveaway. Sam, my man Fargate from the Amazing Collector Edition show. Two, not one, two Marvel Team Up, Marvel Masterworks.
Wow.
Great books, very expensive books. Giving that away. Should Sam get to 1K? A Marvel T-shirt to anybody's size. Comic Crazy has 2 homage covers to ASM 700. The homage covers to 300 and 400. So everybody knows the Venom cover and the Aunt May's Death cover. And then of course Tom is giving away a ASM 318 9.0 slab. And as it goes closer, hopefully we can get Sam to 1K. Maybe more stuff will be added to the pot.
Oh yeah.
But can't wait for that. Of course, my man Fargo always likes to plug me as Big Herm to 500 giveaway. He's giving away an Epic Collection Volume 7, The Death of Gwen Stacy. Guys, this is a good read. If you haven't read it. And a Marvel T-shirt. Yeah, so that's what we're giving away. Should I ever get to 500? Might take a while.
We're getting
when we get there, we'll get there.
I can't think of 2 people more worthy, man. You and Sam. You 2 are
absolutely
so worthy, man. You're gonna get there, man. We're gonna make sure of it for sure, man. You deserve it, bro. You put in the work.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. We're running a little late. Tomorrow's show is next. I plug everything I could plug. You guys know I take forever to say goodbye. Thank you, Justin, for that. Farkas like, you're still on? He always makes me laugh. Of course, guys. You guys, thanks for joining me. Sam's so important that I needed 2 guys to fill in for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Love you, Sam. I hope you're having fun over there.
Oh yeah.
What
we're still not half the man he is, even with 2
I was gonna
of us.
say, I know we can't make up for it, but hopefully we did a confident enough job.
Y'all were fantastic. I hope I was a good enough host.
Lovely as always.
Right? So, guys, thanks for joining us. Go to tomorrow's show. What are you guys still doing here watching us? Go to tomorrow, man.
Pitch battles. Go give them good ideas.
Let's go. Right. Like always, guys, station to everybody. And of course, peace out.